Appleton, Stumptoe, Lost Corner, Tag. So we're getting into the Ozarks parts of Central Arkansas, North Central Arkansas, and that means the elevations are getting a little bit higher. So if there's something that could just be touching those ridge tops, it certainly is a possibility. Let's take a look at the winds right now to see if there's any real rotation showing up with this, and yeah, it is there. We are seeing that tight couplet developing just to the west of you folks in Scottsville. So if you're watching us in this location, very close to Dover and Scottsville, I certainly want to go ahead and take your tornado precautions just in case something does come from the clouds. What we're watching is this brighter blue. That is going to be the inflow of the storm as it's making its way closer to the Little Rock radar. We're looking at the Little Rock radar at this time. So if there's something happening, it's going to be very close to Dover, Lee Mountain, also Piney, where you see this brighter blue showing up. That's where the storm is really starting to show a little more rotation. Let's go over to Storm Track 11, if we can do that, Roger. And we're going to take a look at our rotation tool and to see if that's also picking up. And it is showing that potential of rotation within this cell. This is a great tool that we have here at THV11 because it really detects just the rotation within the storm. And it's right over Dover, headed towards Scottsville and also Hector. So if you're watching us in those locations, you certainly want to, once again, go ahead and take your tornado precautions because this has continued to develop, continues to show rotation. I'm going to rewind this, and you can see why the National Weather Service decided to pull the trigger. We weren't seeing those blues until just the past 5-10 minutes. It wasn't even a severe thunderstorm warning. It just went directly to a tornado warning as the National Weather Service was looking at this rotation continuing to tick up. And there you see they pulled the trigger, and we're still contending with those brighter blues. So this is still spinning. There's probably going to be a wall cloud. Of course, you could probably see that on the backside of the system. But this is most likely going to be a rain-wrapped tornado because when we take a look at the reflectivity or the rain part of the radar, there's no empty areas. So this is going to be a rain-wrapped situation if there is a tornado happening at this time. Back over to Max 1 now. Once again, let's take a look and see if there's any hail with this. And there could be a little bit of pea-sized hail, but of course that's not the main concern. We'll zoom out here, show you the rest of the region before we go back into this, just to see if there's anything else developing. And it is pretty quiet here in Pulaski County. So if you're watching us and saying, what storms? There's nothing happening in Pulaski County or Saline County, you are absolutely correct. But it's going to be for locations just off to the northwest. And that does include Yale County. We had that line of storms rolling its way through. And you're seeing the storms start to develop across Russellville and approaching Dardanelle. But the most severe concerns with this line of storms or line segment is now associated into Pope County. And we do have that potential that this storm could produce a tornado at any moment. It's probably going to be a weak tornado, maybe EF0, EF1, what we're looking at this time. But there's the tornado warning once again until 8:15 for that red polygon area of Scottsville, Hector, Tag, Retta, Stumptoe, Appleton, and Lost Corner. And when we look at the winds, I'm going to go ahead and put on where this would be located. It's going to be right here in this area as we're looking at this rotation continuing to develop. And you see it making its way from pretty much almost a west to east type direction. So you're seeing that wind. Once again, the blue is going towards the radar. So that's actually the outflow, not the inflow, the outflow of the cell, and that's going to be a rush of wind about to move into Scottsville. So you could see maybe not a tornado, but you could still see some gusty winds of 40 to 50 miles per hour rolling through Scottsville at this time. And this rotation is still there. So we're going to stay with it until I see this rotation weaken. We're going to continue to provide you with updates here on THV11. Also, we are live on any streaming platform and also Facebook as well. So when we take a look at the reflectivity with this radar, there's just a lot of lightning. So when we see a lot of lightning like that, that's telling me that we've got a very strong updraft happening at this time. So this storm is drawing in a lot of warm air. That warm air is going way up into the atmosphere, and we also had the potential of pea to dime size hail. But all that lightning shows we got a really healthy storm that continues to develop right across the center parts of Pope County, Dover, Scottsville, Hector, Highway 164, Highway 124. That's going to be the area of where we are watching this potential that there could be a brief tornado happening at any moment. This is Doppler radar indicated, but nonetheless, you still want to take your tornado precautions at this time, especially for you folks in Scottsville. We got Highway 27 here and also the area of Hector. So the community of Hector, don't mess around with this. You know, you will not be able to see it because it is going to be rain wrapped if there is something happening. Because when we take a look once again with the winds in this cell, there's the rain and there's the winds, and it is right embedded within that really heavy rain. So it's going to be heavy rain. If there is a tornado, you're going to have those winds really pick up, and then you won't really know that the tornado is approaching because you've got such heavy rain happening at this time. But yeah, I want you to take your tornado precautions in Scottsville. Okay, so that's the lowest level, sturdy structure, interior hallway, interior bathroom. And you want to grab pillows, grab a blanket, put your shoes on if you have time to do that, because if there is something happening and if there is some damage, you know, it's going to leave probably some nails around or something like that you don't want to step on. And it's always a good idea to put a bicycle helmet or a football helmet if you have that for the kids. It's always a good idea as well. But it's just this one cell that we continue to track, making its way through Pope County. And we do have the tornado warning in effect for southwestern parts of Van Buren County and extreme northwestern areas of Conway County. And we have a new severe thunderstorm warning in effect for, looks like, the Russellville area. Now that also is starting to show some rotation as well, very close to Delaware at this time. So we have to watch out for this cell along with that cell off to the north. So if you're watching us in Russellville, certainly be prepared just in case this decides to rotate a little bit more. This may go tornado warning. You're not under tornado warning at this time in Russellville or Delaware, but I don't like to see the looks of what's happening here. Looks like these are trying to become more supercellular structures, which was a possibility, and you did have that chance in the river valley that you may have a tornado just because we have enough wind shear or enough wind energy for these storms to rotate, even though the main threat was going to be damaging winds and also some large hail. Let's go back over to Storm Track 11 now. We'll take a look at that along with the rotation tool. Thank you, Roger. And we'll take a look at the rotation tool with this to see if the rotation is picking up. So yeah, where you see that splotch of green very close to Hector, southwest of Hector, that's where if there is something happening, it's going to be very close to Scottsville. So once again, this is all Doppler radar indicated, but I don't like the looks of what we're seeing in terms of that rotation still there in Scottsville. And then also there's a little bit of rotation happening over Delaware, and that's going to be aimed at Russellville. So again, Russellville, I would say Pottsville, Atkins, just be on your guard just in case this cell continues to rotate. Let's go back over to Max 1 now, and we'll take a look at what's happening around the rest of the region, because storms have just started to really develop off to our west. And there you see we do have a new tornado warning now. The sirens are going off for you folks in Russellville and Dardanelle. So you do have a tornado warning now for Russellville. The city of Russellville does have a tornado warning in effect until 8:30. As I was just telling you, didn't like the looks of that cell over Delaware. It was starting to show more rotation, and the National Weather Service has certainly decided that it is showing enough rotation to go ahead and pull that trigger and issue a tornado warning. So now we have 2 tornado warnings in effect across the region. Let's just take a look at the warnings at this time and get rid of the rain. We'll get back to that in just one second. But there you see the 1 tornado warning in effect for parts of Logan County, including the community of Delaware. That's where the rotation is at this time. It does include you folks in London, Russellville, Dardanelle, and it also moves into Atkins. So Interstate 40, of course, is under that tornado warning. If you know anybody traveling on Interstate 40 at this time, make sure that they're certainly paying attention, and hopefully they are not headed towards the rotation. I'll show you that in just one second. And then we have another tornado warning in effect for Pope County, northwestern parts of Conway County, and southwestern areas of Van Buren County. When we take a look at the winds with each cell, we're going to take a look at the first one here into Russellville and Dardanelle. There is certainly a little bit of rotation there showing up around Delaware. So if there's something happening with this cell that is producing a tornado at any moment, it's going to be very close to the community of Delaware. We're going to zoom in, Highway 22, and there's some roads popping up right there for you. We've got Wildcat Hollow Road, we've got Delaware Bay Road, so certainly the community of Delaware. The cloud is spinning quite a bit. You probably have a wall cloud. Again, this is going to be most likely rain wrapped. You're not going to be able to see the tornado because it's going to be hiding within that curtain of rain and heavy rain at times, moving across that part of Logan County, about to enter into Pope County. Russellville, you do have a tornado warning in effect. If that rotation holds together, it will be moving into Russellville. Hopefully it weakens before that happens, but certainly that is concerning. And we have heavy rain happening in Russellville. I'm going to look here and see what we have going on with the speed of this storm, because these storms, they're not moving too fast. Looks like the one is moving about 40 to 50 miles per hour off to the north, and that other one is moving to 25 miles per hour. So we have a live view here. This is iDrive, Arkansas. This is Interstate 40, and this is Russellville. Lots of heavy rain, probably some lightning as well. We'll just continue to watch that very closely, see if the winds are picking up. And then there's another view of Russellville that you're very familiar with. We got the Waffle House and Hampton Inn, but the sirens are going off in that part of Pope County. Really, all of Pope County is almost under a tornado warning at this time. So let me go ahead and put a track on this one first, because we have this cell going about 25 miles per hour headed towards Russellville. So I want to give you a timeline. If this continues to hold together, we'll see this rotation go right over Russellville over the next probably 30 minutes or so. So here's a timeline for you. Okay, Norristown, 7 minutes after 8 o'clock. Russellville, you can just take this full, guys, so people can actually see this. I don't have to be on the screen all the time. Atkins around 8:38, Blackwell around 8:51, and Russellville around 11 minutes after 8 o'clock. And then if it holds together, it'll move into Kenwood about 5 minutes before 9 o'clock. So that cell is certainly a dangerous one, but I'm looking at the one off to the north, and that one has a little more rotation with it. We're seeing brighter blues there, so that one definitely is just a little more concerning in terms of how much rotation I'm seeing with this cell off to the north. So again, Scottsville, Hector, you have to be in your safe place. The danger is about to move out of Scottsville. It's aimed at Hector right now. And that D that you see, that is the Dollar General that's along Highway 105 in the community of Hector. So it looks like Hector, if there is something happening at this time, this is a Doppler radar indicated tornado. But nonetheless, it does have some rotation with it. I'm going to go over here to Storm Track 11 just to see if there's any lowering of the correlation coefficient or the debris detector. I'm not seeing that, so that's some good news. Hopefully that continues to be the case. So this is probably still a rotation happening in the clouds, but it may drop down from the clouds at any moment, and we're getting into more of a hilly area of Pope County, so it doesn't have to drop too far before it starts to reach the ridge tops. But certainly Hector, you want to go ahead and take your tornado precautions along with Stumptoe and probably into Appleton, right along the border of Conway County, and also getting into Van Buren County. Now this cell is going much faster. It's going about 50 miles per hour. So I'm going to go ahead and put a new track on this cell as it makes its way off to the east at 50 miles per hour, just to give you folks a timeline here. Hopefully it just stays in some rural areas and just knocks down some trees, and if there is something happening, that hopefully will be the case. But we are on air right now because, of course, we have viewers in this part of Pope County and moving into Van Buren County. So here you go. You can go ahead and take this full once again, Roger. Hector, there you see right at 7:52, and right now the time is 7:51, so it's pretty much right over Hector. Stumptoe around 1 minute after 8 o'clock. Then you have Cleveland 9 minutes after 8 o'clock. Culpeper, 22 minutes after 8 o'clock. Clinton, if it holds together, it may be headed pretty close to Clinton around 8:27. B Branch around 8:30, and then Morganton around 8:34. So that rotation is going to continue to push its way off to the east as it makes its way from Polk County into Van Buren County. Let's take a look at the reflectivity once again just to see if this structure is holding together. Still, we're definitely seeing some, looks like two supercells that are trying to break off from this line segment. Lots of lightning once again with both of these cells, just a bunch of lightning right over Russellville, but certainly a whole bunch of lightning happening right over Hector and Stumptoe. When we take a look at the hail, because that's the other part of the storm, there could still be some pea to dime size hail, but hail is certainly not the biggest concern. Our biggest concern with both these cells is the potential that they may produce a quick tornado at this time. Zooming out, if you're just joining us right now, because we are live on Facebook, and we are, of course, live here on THV 11, for the reason, in our viewing area, we do have tornado warnings in effect. There's nothing happening in Saline County, Pulaski County, Garland County, Lono County, and off to the south and southeast. But we got to watch this line because this line will continue to progress its way down to the east and southeast eventually. And our chance of showers and storms will be going up here in central Arkansas. But right now, we just have enough wind energy for these storms to rotate, even though there's not a tornado watch in effect. That tornado watch in effect is for northwest Arkansas until 10 o'clock. We do not have any watches that have been issued here into central Arkansas or north central Arkansas at this time, but nonetheless, we still have two tornado warnings happening into Polk County, into parts of Conway County, Van Buren County, and of course into the Russellville area. So let's take a look once again. With the winds within this cell, this is known as velocity. The couplet is there. It's not as significant as the one to the north, but we have to watch this very closely. So this is a Doppler radar indicated tornado. Nothing has been confirmed. We're not getting any reports of damage or any reports of a funnel being spotted at this time, but certainly it is happening right very close to Russellville. If there's something happening at this time, it's going to be right on the border of Yale County and Pope counties. And there you see it making its way right into Russellville. So hopefully it stays in the clouds. But Russellville, I need you folks to be in your safe place. Go ahead and make sure you're taking those tornado precautions, lowest level, sturdy structure, into your hallway, into your closet. Grab some pillows, grab a mattress if you can. You want to basically build yourself a fort with as many walls in between you and the storm as much as possible. You want to stay away from exterior walls and of course stay away from windows as well, because if there is something happening, then glass would shatter, obviously. But there you see Russellville. That rotation is making its way right over Russellville at this time. It is not confirmed, but it is affecting a pretty major city in the THV 11 viewing area, and we have viewers in Russellville that are certainly concerned about this situation, and that's why we are on air, and that's why we will continue to stay on air to alert the folks and give them details minute by minute, just to let them know and calm any fears for our friends and family in Russellville. Atkins, there you see, it's going to be making its way towards Atkins. It is right along Interstate 40. Crow Mountain, Mars Hill. You also need to go ahead and take your tornado precautions at this time. Let's go back over to Storm Track 11. Let's see what the rotation is showing with Storm Track 11. We've lost that green on Storm Track 11 from Hector. There was certainly a little notch of green, so that has certainly gone down. As I take you back here, there you see the past few scans with the rotation detector right over Scottsville, and then Hector, and now it has started to lose that green. So hopefully this cell is weakening, moving through the Hector area and about to move right along the border of Conway and Van Buren counties. And there you see we still have that rotation happening over Russellville. Zooming out, it is pretty quiet across the rest of the region. Nothing happening into Little Rock. So yes, I know it's quiet. Nothing happening here in Pulaski County. Let's go back over to Max now. Nothing happening in Saline County or Garland County. But our viewing area covers about 45 to 50 counties, ladies and gentlemen. Back over to Max now, Roger, if we can do that. And we are serving a lot of people, and that people deserve to know the information that could be life-saving if there was something to come from the clouds, especially when it's moving right over a city such as Russellville and very close to Dardanelle. So there is the lightning continuing to just be produced from this very strong updraft. When we take a look at the winds, I'm seeing a little more rotation show up. There you see a little tighter couplet, looks like it's trying to move into the Russellville area. So once again, if there is something happening here, and you don't want to take this exactly as truth because it could be off a couple miles, but all of Russellville needs to be in their safe place at this time. The W that you see, that is the Walmart in Russellville. And if there's something on the ground, it is going to be right along the border of Yale County, right over the Arkansas River, into Russellville, it looks like, Tom. Yeah. And Chief Meteorologist Tom Brannon, you try to have a little bit of dinner. Hopefully you got something to eat.
Got a little something to eat there. Thank you, Nathan Scott, being here tonight. Well, I took a little bit of a dinner break. He's walking you through the tornado-warned storms. And, the National Weather Service here just a few minutes ago saying, the rotation is weakened, but they're going to keep with these warnings. So to our neighbors to the north in Polk County, Johnson County, these storms moving closer to Conway County, where we're warned this evening. As Nathan says, go ahead and take those precautions seriously. And this really looks like it kind of exploded into a very serious situation in a very short amount of time. If you live up in Polk County, if you live in and around the Russellville area, this is where we're finding the possible tornado, at least rotation that would lead to a possible tornado. So make sure you are in your safe place for tonight. Tornado warning in effect till 8:30 and 8:15. Here's Hector, here's Dover, Russellville, all of the lightning indicating very strong thunderstorms tonight, of which we were kind of expecting. Although this area, as Nathan said a moment ago, is not under the tornado watch, it's under the risk of severe weather, and sometimes these things happen. And tonight, it's happening. All right, so no new information just yet from the National Weather Service on these storms. If you're just joining us now, here it is. It's right at 8 o'clock. Nathan Scott, Tom Brannon with you tonight. And this is over parts of north central and west central Arkansas, just on the inside of the THV11 viewing area. Johnson County and Clarksville, you're in the viewing area, as well as Pope County, Van Buren County, and northern Conway County. It looks like on the southern flank of this, another strong storm is quickly becoming a little more troublesome there. So we'll keep an eye on that one in Scott County that may even move into western parts of Yale County. Southern Pope County. Here's northern Conway County, Van Buren County. You folks hopefully have taken your tornado precautions seriously. You're in your safe place right now, and we'll wait this out. Got another 15 minutes on one warning, another half an hour on the other tornado-warned storm near Russellville. Where the atmosphere here is conducive. We do have some wind energy as well as a lot of CAPE, a lot of storm fuel in place. So all of the ingredients are coming together. There are the two tornado-warned storms, the one to the north affecting northern parts of Pope County. That is for like the Hector area and also down around the Russellville, Dardanelle. I guess we can go back to our wind mode and find out where those couplets are if they continue to show some strong signs of rotation. And this one that's just to the southeast of Hector and also right over Russellville, that is in Pope County. Those are the two areas we're keeping a close eye on. And you've got the Russellville. Want to know exactly where the Walmart in Russellville is? This is moving through downtown Russellville. There's the Lock and Dam. You've got a couple of these major roads. Here's Russellville Elementary School, Junior High, Crawford Elementary School. This is traveling along here to the east at a pretty good clip. There's the Walmart. Nathan, anything new?
The National Weather Service just said a spotter reported a funnel near Russellville, Tom. The rotation near Russellville continues to show increasing rotation.
Okay. So increasing rotation, that's with spotters in the neighborhood. It's good to have those eyes out there. They know what they're doing. They're in a place where they're not going to be in the path of the storm. At least we hope not. So there's the area of rotation that Nathan's talking about from the National Weather Service and the storm spotters. So on the front end of this tonight, we're going to experience the possibility of a tornado or two with the risk of severe weather that we have, and then we'll have another wave of thunderstorms or two or three that will come through here on Wednesday. Our immediate concern though, Pope County, Russellville, with rotation being spotted near Highway 326, moving to the east right now.
And let's go over to Storm Track 11. Once again, the rotation tool doing an excellent job, really pinpointing that rotation. So where you see that
right here.
bullseye of green, and now we got a little triangle, a green triangle. So that definitely puts more a serious situation that we could have something happening right over Russellville at any moment. So again, Russellville, you need to be in your safe place because this cell may drop a tornado at any moment as that rotation continues to pick up. So we're looking at right now, right over Russellville. That's going to be Highway 27, it looks like, Tom, if there is something happening at this time. We're going to continue to watch that to see if there's anything being picked up on the correlation coefficient or debris detector. But let's go back over to Max 1. Once again, we've got the winds with the roads there, and there you see Highway 27. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit.
Right.
There's some more main roads.
Right. With this broader perspective, and if you're in the Russellville area, here's Highway 64. You've got the Walmart. You've got South Knoxville Avenue. If that name sounds familiar to you, then you're close to the area of rotation that's moving to the east and will cross over Knoxville Avenue. But Highway 27 in Knoxville up to 124. Really downtown. It's over downtown Russellville, at least the possible rotation that may produce a tornado at any moment. Storm spotters are on this. They're keeping a close eye on it. One of the ham radio operators just indicating the winds have picked up where he is. So this is cell number 1. What's the latest with the other one that's to the north? 8:15 is the expiration of that warning, but just to the north there's another tornado warning for a part of Polk County. That was near Hector, Arkansas. It's this box right up here. Russellville, Dardanelle, we'll be right back with you, but let's talk a little bit about the cell that's moving through the Hector area. At least it was in the southeastern side of Hector where we saw the couplet or where we saw the rotation, and there it is right there. Still looks fairly impressive. That is moving to the east. Cleveland, Arkansas is in the path of that storm. Here's the one in Russellville. So we've got two cells we're watching that could at any moment produce a tornado.
But
Nathan?
definitely the one in Russellville has a tighter couplet. Looking at different information here with the rotation tool on Storm Track 11, and then also the velocities are brighter, standing more out to me right over Russellville. So I'm
definitely stronger.
Getting more concerned about Russellville. Hopefully this thing stays in the clouds, but there's definitely some concern as this rotation continues to tick up right over Russellville along Interstate 40, and now it's going to be making its way very close to the Walmart in Russellville, back over to Max. It'll be making its way right along Interstate 40, and then if it holds together, Mars Hill, Crow Mountain, Atkins, be in your safe place at this time. Lowest level, sturdy structure, into your hallway, into your closet, stay away from windows, grab some pillows, grab a mattress. We continue to see this rotation pick up. Scan by scan, Tom, not liking the looks of that whatsoever.
Certainly looks like it's intensifying. Like you said, the couplet's a little bit tighter. Really over the Walmart in Russellville, there's Highway 64 and 40. There's 331. If you live in and around this area, there's where we're talking about. We talk about a couplet. We talk about winds blowing toward and away from radar. The winds in the red are blowing away. Winds blowing toward in blue. That gives us the area of concern of the rotation that could produce a tornado. Storm spotters are on top of this. National Weather Service is on top of this. This continues to slowly strengthen, moving to the east. And right out here, this is the polygon. This is where the tornado warning is in effect. If you live inside of that, Atkins, you're inside of that polygon along I-40, along 331 and 363. Dardanelle, the main area of concern is just to your north, moving through downtown Russellville at this time.
So I'm going to put a track on here, just 1 second. I have to adjust the speed because the one off to the north was going about 40 to 50 miles per hour. This one's going about 25.
A little slower.
But if it holds together, I just want to give folks a heads up. So it's right over Russellville at this time, and it's going to continue to track its way over Crow Mountain, Atkins. If it holds together, it will enter its way into Conway County, affect you folks possibly in Hattieville, Wonderview, and maybe Robertsville. So there's the timeline for you. Pottsville, about 60 minutes after 8 o'clock. Mars Hill, 22 minutes after 8 o'clock. And give yourself some extra time. Don't just follow these times exactly. I would give yourself 5-10 minutes. You know, don't mess around with this. make sure you're taking those tornado precautions. You're not going to be able to see this tornado because it's rain wrapped. This is not a classic hook echo where we have some clear air to work with. It is heavy rain with a tornado embedded within it if it is producing something at this time. So there you see Robertsville around 8:52 and 8:59 closer to 9 o'clock for Wonderview. But those winds, that couplet is still definitely showing much more than what we're looking at Appleton. So
yeah, here's Appleton.
We've got that rotation, and it has weakened as it makes its way from Polk County into extreme northwestern areas of Conway County. But this one down here into the Russellville area, that continues to show more inflow and also more outflow. It's making its way right over Interstate 40 at this time. I'm trying to look at iDrive Arkansas. Let's see if we're getting anything there. Okay, so this is Russellville. There you see we got certainly some heavy rainfall, lots of consistent lightning, traffic slowing up, but hopefully, once again, it's not going to produce anything, but just looking at that signature that we're seeing on the velocity mode, and there was a little bit of yellow popping up on Storm Track 11, Tom, that was certainly a little concerning as it made its way right over Russellville. So could it produce a quick touchdown? That is a possibility. Hopefully that wasn't the case, but it is a cell that is a dangerous cell, and now it's very close to Pottsville and approaching Atkins and Mars Hill and Crow Mountain.
Atkins, the center of rotation is now directly over the top. It's probably a little farther to the east, but if you know where the Walmart in Russellville is located, off of 64 and 331, then you know where we're talking about. That's where the area of concern with the rotation with this thunderstorm is located. We're still looking to see if we've had any confirmation. It may just still be up there rotating around, and we hope that it does stay up there. But if you live on any of the roads, if you live close to Stream Road, if you live at Crow Mountain Road, you've got Welcome Hill Road out in advance of this area. It's right on top of you right now, as a matter of fact. Sawyer Lane, Marble Springs Road, in and around the Russellville, downtown Russellville area. State Route 363, Interstate 40. There's Bear Mountain Lane. You've got the orange or the red and the blue here. This is our couplet. This is the area of concern. May have a possible tornado there. And the movement is to the east, and they've upped it to 35 miles per hour. It was at 25, but it's moving east at 35. And it's about 19 miles north of Morrilton. To give you another indicator of where Conway County is located in Morrilton, this is going to move to the east, and if it holds its current track, it will travel just north of Morrilton. So if you live let's say north of Morrilton and going up toward the northern parts of Conway County, then you're going to be in the path of this one. And this is the one we'll track. The other one not getting much attention. It's still there. 2 tornado warnings, Nathan Scott, tonight.
And Tom, this rotation is about to make its way over Crow Mountain. Sometimes the geography can mess with a storm cell, or it can enhance a storm cell. So as this makes its way over Crow Mountain, we'll have to see what happens with that. But certainly, once again, it's right over Interstate 40. Headed towards Crow Mountain, Mars Hill, and the tornado warning, it stops before it gets into Conway County. But I'm telling you what, just a heads up, be prepared. Get those shoes on, get the kids ready, have them prepared to go to their tornado safe place just in case this tornado warning gets extended into western parts of Conway County. Robertsville into Wonderview, Hattieville along Highway 247. Just be ready. There's no tornado warning in effect at this time, but that may change because we're not seeing any weakening with this rotation whatsoever as it makes its way out of Russellville, now headed towards Pottsville and Atkins. That rotation off to the northern cell, that has really come down quite a bit. So I'm not as concerned about that one making its way into extreme northwestern parts of Conway County. And once again, if you're just joining us, we are just watching those 2 cells, but they are certainly causing quite a ruckus just off to the north and west of Little Rock Metro. There's nothing happening in Little Rock, in Benton, in Searcy, into Conway, Hot Springs. It's all quiet. It's just this cluster of cells, 2 different supercells moving through the River Valley and getting into north central Arkansas that we're concerned about at this time. And that's why we continue to be on air, especially when we continue to see this rotation that has made its way over Russellville It is still there. It is still a tight couplet that we're seeing right along Highway Interstate 40. And we have Crow Mountain. So Crow Mountain is in the direct path of a rotating storm that could produce a tornado at any moment. And I think we're in a situation, it'll probably be a weak tornado. Hopefully that will be the case. But of course, we can't give you a guarantee. There's enough wind shear in the atmosphere for these storms to tap into. They're rotating, and that's why they have started to go tornadic.
If we can real quick, Nathan, let's take a look at our rotation product on Storm Track 11. That'll give us an idea if this rotation is still fairly significant, and it is. And even the one up toward the Jerusalem area is significant, but this is the stronger of the two, north of Pottsville now, moving to the east. Atkins, it looks like the main area of rotation may move just to your north as it moves out of Polk County into Conway County. Still some significant rotation near Jerusalem. That's the second cell we're keeping an eye on. But when you got these green bullseyes, these dots here, this is where we're indicating the strongest rotation being picked up with radar.
And they're going to let that one into the northern areas
right up here
of Conway County. They're going to let that expire.
Okay.
So they're not going to continue that past 8:15.
So this will be our focus. And Atkins, it's going to be awfully close. North side of Atkins, you'll be in the path of it. It's going to ride right along I-40 as it travels down the interstate. And Kevin, you guys up there, let us know if you see anything on one of our the iDrive cams, and we'll go back to that if we need to. Here's the rotation once again. You got the blue area blowing toward radar, the red blowing away. So that gives you the area of concern, the rotation there. Yeah, much weaker rotation up toward Jerusalem. This is certainly the most impressive. Nathan was just pointing out the two strongest storms, the two storms that we have, this cluster moving through the River Valley, Russellville, Polk County right now. So I think we're beginning to see things let up a bit back toward the Russellville, Dardanelle area, but now Pottsville, it's over the top of you, and will soon be traveling over Atkins along I-40. We got a cam in Pottsville. Let's take it real quick, see if we can see anything. It's probably, yeah, just looks rather ominous there. We're looking to the east, okay? We're looking east. You can see a lot of wind, heavy rain, and that is our camera shot along I-40 in Pottsville. How about the one in Atkins? If we're looking east here, we need to be looking back toward the west. If you can find a camera that looks west into the storm, that would be fantastic. It may not be. All right, well, let's go back to our Storm Track 11. Or Max, whichever you would like to, and we will continue to track this storm. Here it is, north of Pottsville, just north of Pottsville, riding along I-40 and Highway 64 on the north side currently of the interstate, and it looks like it's going to carry on to the east. There's the county line. Here's the extent of the polygon in eastern Polk County, Conway County, Hattieville, Blackwell. Go ahead and get your precautions ready, although you're not under a warning yet. It could come at any moment. Another consideration with this, not only a possible tornado, but maybe some large hail and some very gusty winds with this sail. Nathan?
Yeah, Tom, that's the one we are watching very closely. Let's go back over to Max now because it's still showing up quite a bit. Clearly, rotation with the brighter blues and the duller burnt oranges happening. Where you see those brighter blues, that is the winds going towards the Little Rock radar. So we're seeing those winds really gusty, probably about, I would say, 40 to 50 miles per hour. So even if you don't get the actual tornado, you can still get some gusty, potentially damaging winds at times. When we take a look at the winds here, and this is going to be a little bit higher above the surface, but there you see almost 50 mile per hour winds within just that couplet area right there in the blue. So at least 50 mile per hour winds affecting Crow Mountain at this time. But that's not the rotating winds if there is something happening. And again, this is a Doppler radar indicated tornado warning. Nothing has been confirmed. We have gotten no damage reports out of Russellville. And speaking of Russellville, you are out of the threat. That tornado, if there is something happening, is going to be to the east of Russellville. So Russellville, if you're watching us, you're listening to us, you can go ahead and come out of your safe place because the threat from this storm is now over. However, Crow Mountain, you are in the thick of things right now, and if there is something happening, it's going to be right over Crow Mountain and Mars Hill, approaching Atkins, Highway 105, Highway 247, the community of Economy, Happy Bend, Hattieville, Old Hickory, and there you see some of the mountains also showing up Burnett Cove and also Wildcat Mountain will be in the line of this rotation if it continues to hold together as it moves from eastern parts of Pope County into western areas of Conway County. This tornado warning is in effect until 8:30 this evening, and they may continue it. Looking at the latest from chat with the National Weather Service, they are going to go ahead and do a new tornado warning into Conway County. So let's go ahead and put a track on there once again. Is it still going 20 or 35 miles per hour, you said,
It was 35 miles per hour at last check.
Okay, let me go ahead and put a new track with that new data in.
While you do that, severe thunderstorm warnings for Logan County, Yale counties, they're all canceled right now. So our main focus really is what's happening in Pope County and points east going into Conway County tonight. I would say Hattieville, Wonderview, even Atkins. The cell is going to be awfully close. North side of town, it's getting awfully close to Atkins. Hopefully you're in your safe place right now along Highway 105 and 40, that intersection. That's where that rotation. But here are the locations that are going to be in the path between now and 9 o'clock. So you've got time to make sure you get your safe place ready to go tonight. Atkins, Mars Hill, Macedonia, Wonderview, Overcup, even Cedar Creek. Those areas here within this purple shaded polygon that Nathan has drawn.
And the new warning just popped up.
And there it is right there. So go ahead and tell us about that, Nathan.
Okay, so there's a new tornado warning until 9 o'clock now for those areas in the red. That means if you are watching us and you're in the red, not so much Russellville, but certainly Atkins and off to the east, make sure you go ahead and take your tornado precautions just in case something comes out of the cloud. We still have not gotten any reports other than a possible funnel spotted around Russellville, but this storm is still intense and it still means business. So I need you to go ahead and get to your safe place. Hattieville, Wonderview, Robertsville, Sogelhatchee, and then also along the highways, if you're watching us along Highway 247, along Highway 213, there you see some other communities popping up: St. Vincent, Wesley Chapel, Old Hickory, Birdtown, Middleton, and Overcup. It might just miss you to the north of Overcup, but certainly you're still in that tornado warning, so you want to go ahead and get to a lowest level, sturdy structure, into your hallway, into your closet. Grab pillows, grab blankets, get the kids together, have some bicycle helmets on them, football helmets on them, anything that can protect you from any flying debris if this does indeed produce something. We take a look at the winds. Let's go ahead and show you where that rotation is. You can clearly see that brighter blue that has made its way right over Crow Mountain, very close to Atkins. So if this storm is producing a tornado, it's going to be right over Crow Mountain, approaching Highway 105, and then right along Highway 247, aimed right towards Hattieville and Wonderview. Those are going to be the next communities in line with this potential tornado. And now they have another new tornado warning. Looks like the rotation has picked up into Van Buren County and northern parts of Conway County. So they've issued a new tornado warning for those areas. And that looks like it's going to be affecting you folks in Cleveland, Formosa, Austin, Culpeper, Bee Branch, and Southside. Also, Choctaw, Walnut Grove, and Clinton is under the tornado warning, but Clinton, it may just miss you down to the south. So let's take a look at those warnings, just the warnings now. And there you see the red polygons continue to buy up more real estate, and that does include a large chunk of Van Buren County and most of Conway County. Morrilton, you are not under this tornado warning. Plumerville, you're not under this tornado warning, but it is certainly a close call as that rotation will be just a few miles to the north of you, it looks like, as it makes its way from Pope County, getting into Conway County. And when we take a look at the rest of the area, Tom, it's just those two cells, but those cells are nasty.
Yeah.
The rest of the area, it's all quiet.
They're going through the cycling stage, that northern cell cycling back up. And I'm a little surprised that it's able to withstand, because the cell to the south of it could be taking away a lot of its energy. A lot of lightning with these storms, keeping an eye on another storm developing out over western and west central Yale counties. But these are the two tornado warned storms that we have. If we go to Max 2, I've got them both lined out, showing you those couplets just to the north. Here's the one near Cleveland that's freshly been warned, and here's the the one now that's moving over Atkins, Highway 105 and I-40, and Cleveland along 95. This one's beginning to uptick a bit, and that's why the Weather Service has placed now those two areas under a tornado warning, but downstream from Conway County into Van Buren County as well. So if you live in Van Buren County, and we're talking about those areas around B Branch, you've got Southside, Choctaw. Here is the outer skirts of the polygon, which you folks should be doing right now, and even a little farther downstream. These cells continue to hold together. Is take your safety precautions seriously. Go ahead, get to the lowest point in your home, centermost part of your home. Put as many walls between you and the outside as you can and protect yourself. We have not, the good news, now we have not heard any confirmation, but we know these storms have strong rotation and could produce a tornado at any time. Again, there's the cell that's the strongest one that is now moving through the Atkins area. It's going to be moving east. It will affect the places like Hattieville, Wonderview, possibly Robertsville, and this cell near Cleveland, Arkansas, that is also moving east-northeast, and there's a whole host of real estate out in front. Formosa, Culpeper, Walnut Grove. Here's B Branch on the outside of it. Even on down the road, you get into Cleburne County. Go ahead and start prepping now. These storms still seem to be holding together and will do so over the next, 30 to 45 minutes with these warnings that are in effect. This is our live winds mode. It's velocity. It shows us where the couplets are located with these tornado warned storms, and it looks like something else was just issued. Let me check that real quick. Unless you have that, Nathan, a new warning, a new severe thunderstorm warning. Yeah, for Conway and Pope counties, new severe thunderstorm warning. So outside of the tornado warning, we have a severe thunderstorm warning, large hail and damaging winds. Here are the two areas of concern. There's Cleveland, Arkansas. There's area of rotation here. And the most intense area that we have now is right over Atkins. That is near the intersection of 105 down to where Highway or Interstate 40 intersects with Atkins. So a lot of places will be affected tonight. If we could go back to reflectivity, I'm going to hand it off to Nathan here in just a second, but this gives an idea of, we go back to Max 1 and we'll show you what it looks like reflectivity wise. You can certainly see a little bit of a hook here. That's near Atkins. And the other one, Nathan, is near Cleveland, Arkansas.
Yeah, Tom, we are continuing to watch these two different supercells that they kind of developed into this line, and now they just kind of had their own little personalities to them and trying to, I think, separate from the line. We'll just have to wait and see if that actually happens. But we are in a situation where we have a very warm and humid air mass in place, enough wind shear, enough storm fuel for these storms to really feed off of, produce very strong updrafts, and those updrafts rotate, and that leads you to the potential of having tornadoes out there, ladies and gentlemen. So once again, it's just two cells. A large part of the THV11 viewing area, nothing's going on, but these two cells, they are nasty and they mean business, and with the potential of pea to dime size hail. But the main concern is really the threat of a tornado happening at any moment. This cell to the north, affecting you folks in North Conway County, southern parts of Van Buren County, still has rotation. I don't think it's as clear as what we're seeing for the southern cell. I'll show you that in just 1 second. But again, Cleveland, Austin, Formosa, B Branch, Southside, you are in the direct path of this cell that continues to rotate and may produce a tornado at any moment. So Highway 124, we've got Highway 9, Highway 92, all those areas are in the path of seeing potential storm produce a tornado. I think it's going to be south of you folks in Clinton. You are under the tornado warning. Tornado sirens are certainly going off. Things could certainly change with the path, so don't write this off. If you are in the polygon, that tornado warning polygon, you need to take it seriously. But we are seeing some brighter blues here, and that shows we have some higher winds, certainly right over Atkins area and just to the north of Atkins along Highway 247 and Highway 105, very close to the community of Economy and Happy Bend. And where you see those brighter blues, that is the storm with the winds rushing away from the storm or the outflow of the storm. Meanwhile, the oranges and kind of reddish color, that is the inflow. So if there is a tornado happening, it's going to be very close to Happy Bend, Economy, and Atkins, moving towards Hattieville, St. Vincent, very close to Old Hickory, Wonderview, Wesley Chapel, Tucker Mountain, Birdtown, Cypress Valley, and also Soglowhatchee. When we take a look at the rain with also the lightning, you're certainly getting a lot of lightning. And that's the other factor in this storm. Because the updraft is so strong, it is producing just tons of cloud to ground lightning. And until we see that lightning start to drop off, that still tells me this storm continues to maintain its intensity, or it will continue to strengthen as it makes its way off to the east. So with that said, you're not under tornado warning at this time, northern parts of Faulkner County and also into Cleburne County, but these cells are marching in your direction, so be prepared. Greenbrier, Guy, Rosebud, Heber Springs, Greer's Ferry, because your weather is going to be changing very shortly going into the next 30 minutes to an hour. You'll at least see heavy rain, lightning, and thunder, but you could also see the potential of severe weather as well.
Yeah, and I think you make a good point. Northern half of Faulkner County, even out toward Cleburne County, it's all about getting the message out, trying to get that warning out way in advance, so that you can protect your family. And here it is, it's getting dark, it's 8:27, the sun's gone down, it's getting dark outside, you can't see them coming at you. So the best thing to do is just go ahead and get into the safe place. You know, you've got your phone, you can listen to Nathan and I, and we'll walk you through it. We're going to tell you exactly where we're finding rotation within the storms. You just keep your family safe, get to your safe place, and make sure everybody knows that there could be a potential tornado headed your way. This is skirting along Interstate, I call it Interstate 40, Highway 64, near Atkins, moving to the east. Hattieville, you're in the direct path of it. And then on down the road, you've got Wonderview. Eventually, it's going to move out into northern parts of Faulkner County. Here is the extent of the polygon. This is where the warning is issued. This cell's moving east at 35. They were moving pretty quickly earlier in the evening, and now they're kind of crawling along once again. But this is certainly the most impressive, strongest rotation we're picking up. There are the locations: Happy Bend, Hattieville, Hickory Hill, Overcup, Arthur. You got Birdtown, you got Wooster eventually in northern Faulkner County, and that's at 9/11. So we're still a good 45, 50 minutes away from this storm carrying over into northern parts of Faulkner County. Just remember, you know, your tornado safety precautions. Take something with you to your closet to cover up your head. Grab your shoes, put a helmet on, grab something to cover up the kid's head, just in case. 2 cells, one here, one here. The one to the north near Cleveland, Arkansas, had some strong enough rotation that they reissued the warning, and that's going to move to the northeast or east-northeast. Will affect folks that live in Culpeper, Formosa, Austin, Arkansas. Eventually, B Branch, which is on the outer skirt of the polygon. You got a couple of different things happening. The orange is a severe thunderstorm warning. You're going to get the red indicates the tornado warning. The Cleveland, Arkansas storm, this one here is not as impressive, but it's just as important because it could still produce a tornado. Here's the track, and here are the locations that are in the path of this. If you live near Highway 95, and that travels down into Cleveland, Arkansas. If you live in Claude, Formosa, you got Whipple, B Branch, and eventually Morgantown. These highways and byways. Here's Highway 65. Everybody pretty much knows where 65 is located, especially those traveling north going to, say, Branson, Arkansas. 65 also travels into Clinton. Clinton's on the very upper end of that polygon. And on the very lower end, you've got B Branch. Here's Faulkner County, Cleburne County. The 2 cells right now affecting Pope, Conway, and Van Buren counties. Nathan.
And Tom, you see we have a new severe thunderstorm warning issued for Yale County. That is also a supercell thunderstorm. So Danville, watch out for that one because it is starting to show rotation as well. We've got that little kidney bean shape. So we're seeing certainly some hook type signature trying to develop, and you have to watch out for that because we're in a situation that these are supercells. They can produce not only large hail and damaging wind gusts, but the tornado threat is there, even though, and I'm going to check to make sure that I'm right in saying this, we now have a brand new tornado watch.
Okay.
Okay, I don't know when that was issued.
It must have been issued within the last few minutes. I was thinking the same thing you were thinking, that, even though there's not a tornado watch, but now we do with these 3 supercell thunderstorms moving through west central and north central Arkansas. There's even more back out here in Oklahoma, going to keep an eye on. And this is going to be the extent of the evening, unfortunately, with the tornado watch lasting through a good part of the night. What are the specifics? How long is this one going to last, Nathan?
I'm going to query this to
You're
see.
going to query it? All right, we'll be able to tell you. That does include Pulaski County and Lonoke Saline counties. Oh, 3 a.m. Okay.
So we got a long night ahead of us.
Yes, we do.
Because, like you said, Tom, we are watching not only just those cells developing ahead of the main line, so we have cells developing right over the River Valley into the Ouachita's, but then more cells out into Oklahoma. And until that clears the region, we still have the threat. We could see some strong to severe thunderstorms through the course of the evening. So the chance was low, but anytime it's there, you never can write it off, especially since we're still in the severe weather season mode here in Arkansas. It starts to wind down later in the month and into June. But once again, we have 2 tornado warnings in effect.
We just have one now. The northern one's been canceled.
The northern one's been canceled.
The northern one's canceled. Go ahead.
So we have severe thunderstorm warning with potential of maybe that one trying to continue to rotate. Let's see if that's a tornado possible. That's just going to be a likely tornado warning, likely severe thunderstorm warning for Yale County. So they're not going with the tornado possible on that one in Yale County in Danville. But still, don't let your guard down, Danville. Just because it's a severe thunderstorm warning does not mean that cell can't intensify and start to spin up. So there's a tornado warning in effect for a sliver of Polk County and a large chunk of Conway County, and then we have severe thunderstorm warnings with a tornado possible tag. They dropped that tornado warning in Van Buren County with a rotation that has weakened, but as you know, Tom, these things can cycle up and cycle down. Let's go over to Storm Track 11 to see what's happening with that cell that has made its way through Polk County. Again, this is a Doppler radar indicated tornado warning. We have not seen any damage coming out of Russellville, so that is some good news, but it is still a supercell. It goes through a cycle, cycles up, cycles down, and it still may produce a tornado at any moment.
Hey, there's the one that's the northern cell that was just reduced to a tornado possible severe thunderstorm warning moving through Cleveland, Arkansas, Jerusalem, Cleveland, Arkansas. But look at this one. It just screams I'm a little more significant with the bright blue area that we have. Certainly, if you're not getting a tornado, you may be getting some very strong straight line wind gusts with this. And our rotation tool will indicate that if we do have a tornado, it's where that little triangle is. That's where we're finding the potential for a possible tornado that could be in that area. Still got some significant rotation on the one up there, Jerusalem to Cleveland, Arkansas, but they've dropped the warning. It's a little broader. This one's a little tighter, but may broaden out a bit. Getting some good wind gusts there near Pottsville, Arkansas, as this thing is moving to the east very slowly, 35 miles per hour. But these storms, they may weaken a little, they may recycle. And then there's another one out in Yale County that's a severe thunderstorm warning, a supercell, all by, and really the concern, you get these things by themselves and they have all of that energy to work from, they intensify, and there's nothing to really slow them down. So going to be a little bit of a long night. Nathan shared with you the new tornado watch till 3 in the morning. That does include Pulaski, Saline, and Lonoke counties in central Arkansas. Faulkner County, you're in it. Perry County's in it until 3 o'clock in the morning. I think, Nathan, it was just a matter of time. I felt like it was coming. But because of these cells tonight kind of taking a life of their own, it's prompted the Weather Service to go ahead and put that watch out for a good part of northern and central Arkansas.
And Tom, this is not the only night that we have to be concerned about severe weather, because we have the potential out there for tomorrow evening into tomorrow night and even potentially into Thursday. And everything is on the table. Damaging wind gusts, large hail, and yes, maybe even the potential that storms try to produce tornadoes. But let's go over to Max 1. Once again, here's a clear view of that rotation happening over Polk County, moving into Conway County at this time. So Atkins, things are starting to quiet down somewhat in terms of the threat of a tornado. That's primarily to the east of you now, but Happy Bend, Wesley Chapel, Hattieville, St. Vincent, Sogelhatchee, Ragsdale Mountain, Tucker Mountain, and you also have Cypress Creek Reservoir approaching Springfield. Springfield's not in the tornado warning at this time, but certainly if this rotation holds together, you will be under a tornado warning shortly, also over Cup. So certainly folks in the southern part of this tornado warning want to take it very seriously. It may stay just to the south of you in Wonderview and Robertsville. You're under that tornado warning, but the threat is starting to go down just because it is almost due south of you, and it primarily will stay down to the south of you. But let me go ahead and extend this once again. Okay. If this tornado holds together, this tornado warning holds together, it will be moving into Faulkner County. We'll put down a 35-mile-per-hour track as we take it from Conway County into Faulkner County. Now, this is not a guarantee. I just want to give you a heads up. So there's a timeline. Don't follow that exactly. Give yourself an extra 5 to 10 minutes. But there you see it starts to arrive possibly in Overcup around 8:47. Springfield, 9 o'clock. Cedar Creek, 9:03. Wooster around 9:10. 9:22 in Guy. And there you see it continues to push its way into northern parts of Faulkner County if it holds together. This is certainly a possibility just because it is a supercell thunderstorm. It is still showing a lot of lightning, and also looks like we have more of a almost hook signature trying to develop. So if there's something happening, and it may happen at any moment, it's certainly going to be right over Hattieville, Highway 247, Highway 95, very close to St. Vincent, Wesley Chapel. If there's something within this cell that's coming from the clouds, it is going to be right in this location. And of course, Tom, once again, we have ridges, there's some hills out there, and the geography, not only can it reach the clouds a little bit closer, but also it can enhance that rotation, or it can also weaken the rotation.
Something else that was brought up is that the cell is really by itself. It has no competition. I mentioned it a moment ago. There's another cell in Yale County. It continues to just feed off of the very warm, moist air mass that we have, and we've got just enough wind shear for rotation. The question is there enough for it to reach the ground? I certainly hope not, but you got 3 supercells out there. One of them is cycling, one is holding its own all by itself, and the other one is intensifying. So west central Arkansas, the River Valley, and north central Arkansas are going to be in line for a rather long evening. Here's the area Nathan's talking about. You see a little bit of an appendage, a hook here. Here's Hattieville along Highway 247, getting closer to Wesley Chapel. I would say if you live in St. Vincent or Wesley Chapel, you're really under the gun right now. This radar may be just a little bit delayed. We get these scans every minute or so. So if you live in St. Vincent and Wesley Chapel, hopefully you're within your safe place. There's Tucker Mountain out near Highway 287 and Highway 9. This warning continues till 9 o'clock. Here it is 8:38. With this tornado warned storm, and it's going to continue. I think it's probably going to go, I don't want to make this prediction only because we know how these things behave. It'll cycle up, it'll cycle down. Faulkner County, go ahead and just take your safe spot. Go ahead and get there, especially if you live Greenbrier, Twin Groves, up to Damascus, southern parts of Van Buren County, and then on down the road, southern parts of Cleburne County. Storm holding together, doesn't really show any signs of weakening. There's a part here, and the other cell we'll keep an eye on to the north, which is now beginning to be a little more competitive with this cell. And this one may be taken away, its mojo, so to speak. So the cell to the north still has the tornado possible tag on it, but still a severe thunderstorm warning. That's the tornado warning that we have. And of course, the other one, there's the end or the tip end of that severe thunderstorm warning that's to the south and west in Yale County that, Nathan, looks like it might be getting a little bit stronger. And it also appears to have a little bit of an appendage, and that is to the southwest of Danville. There you go. That's looking a lot more supercellular.
Tom, the evolution of these cells has been interesting to watch because, again, it started out as a line segment, then started to break up into individual supercells, and this one certainly is the primary supercell moving through Conway County. So this one has the most likelihood at this time of producing a tornado at any moment. Once again, we're looking at the National Weather Service. We're in constant contact with them. They're looking at spotter reports. The only thing we've heard so far was potential of a funnel around Russellville, but we have not heard any damage reports. We have not seen any other reports coming in from you, the viewer, as well in those areas. If you do have anything and it's safe, make sure you let us know, 501-376-1111. Also, we have somebody monitoring our THV11 Facebook page, and she can certainly pass on information that you see in your area in terms of storm damage or any reports that you would like to relay to us through that media as well. But what we're concerned about, this is a supercell that is all by itself now. It continues to feed off the very warm and humid air mass. There's nothing down to the south to cut off the inflow. So the likelihood that this supercell is going to continue to stay intense and maybe strengthen as it makes its way into Faulkner County is increasing. So we have to certainly be on our guard. Like Tom said, nothing happening right now in a large part of Faulkner County except some light rain coming from that supercell. But you got to be ready to go ahead and take your tornado precautions. If you're watching us, Twin Groves, Republican, Greenbrier, Woolly Hollow State Park, Guy, Enders, Quitman, and Damascus. You're not under tornado warning at this time, but that could change. So certainly be on your guard, get ready, put your shoes on, get the kids ready just in case they decide the rotation is going to continue to move into Faulkner County. The rest of the area, when we take a look, there's not much happening. Once again, Pulaski County, Saline County, White County, Garland County, down to the south and southeast. It is all quiet, nothing happening. These are just very isolated supercells, but they are nasty storms. And I'm sure if you could see the clouds in the distance, looking off from Hot Springs off to the northwest, you're going to see a big cloud with a lot of lightning coming from that cloud, and probably more of the same into Pulaski County, looking off to the north towards Morrilton and into Conway County, because these cells are producing a whole bunch of lightning. Of course, the main concern is that tornado potential. As you can clearly see, that rotation is not weakening. It is still there as it's made its way from Russellville, and now it is entering into the center part of Conway County. So Hattieville, Wesley Chapel, Overcup, Sogelhatchee, Tucker Mountain, Cypress Valley, Ragsdale Mountain, Cypress Creek Reservoir, Bethlehem, and Birdtown. You are in the path of a dangerous storm that may produce a tornado at any moment. You want to certainly go ahead and be in your safe place right now. Don't waste any time, because this cell could produce a tornado at any moment.
Yeah. Two cells to speak of. I want to go to Max 2 real quick. We're going to look at the same thing, the live winds. We're just going to take it a little bit broader and show you the other area of concern. Something of note is the cell to the south has really begun to absorb most of the energy away from the cell to the north. Still have the tornado tag. Severe thunderstorm warning is in effect here for southern parts of Van Buren County and Conway County. This is where the tornado warning is located, but this cell is now beginning to really catch up with the one to the north. So it's very likely that the cell to the north will lose a little bit more of its identity, still be capable of producing some large hail and some damaging wind. But there's that cell. Just to give you an idea, this is the real estate that we have, and this is north central Arkansas. You've got Greenbrier in northern Faulkner County. Here's Highway 65. There's B Branch. If this cell continues to move to the east and the warning is issued for Faulkner County, then the greatest likelihood of being in the path is going to be right there near Greenbrier, close to Wooster, Arkansas. Then eventually we'll make it into parts of southern Cleburne County. Here's southern Van Buren County, B Branch. Damascus is on the border. We're all familiar pretty much with Damascus, Arkansas. And you've got that northern cell that's continuing to shrink a bit. The other one to the south continues to hold its own. And it's really one of those that may cycle down, cycle back up. It doesn't have anything to compete around it. So it's going to stay as a very strong, to severe thunderstorm capable of producing the tornado. Let's see. Okay, they're not going to get rid of the tornado warning. Low levels, it has broadened out just a little, but they're going to keep this tornado warning. Wouldn't be surprised here in the next few minutes if we see an extension of this warning into parts of Faulkner County. I think we've got the track if we want to go back to Max 1 for those of you in the path of this cell. There you go. Down the road, you've got Springfield, you've got Republican, Twin Groves, Guy, Damascus on the border of Faulkner and Van Buren. There's Greenbrier. If you live in any of these locations, you have time right now to get into your tornado safe place. Although Faulkner County's not been listed yet as a tornado warned storm, I think it's coming. This cell is just holding together. So make sure you take your shoes, you've got something to cover up your head, grab your meds. If you have medicine you got to take with you, get to the lowest part of your home or basement. If you got the storm shelter, go ahead and get out in it. Now you are experiencing some rainfall out ahead of it, some very heavy rain. And we talk about this appendage, this hook appendage. This looks a little more classic here. Right there at 287 in Sagahachi, this is where we're finding the rotation moving right over that community, and will soon be moving toward the Springfield area. The red is the tornado warned polygon. On the outside is the severe thunderstorm warned polygon. There's a lot of stuff going on here and a lot of colors. We try to find those couplets to let you know, and that helps us identify, especially at street level, what streets or what roads that the cell may be traveling over. So please get to your safe spot. If you live in Faulkner County, prep now, get there. Greenbrier, you're going to be in the path eventually. Republican to the north, Damascus to your north. And we're keeping a close eye on the one that's out by itself in central Yale County that would move into Perry County. Perry County, although you're not under a warning just yet, it might be a good idea if you live in western Perry County to go ahead and start gathering your things and get to your safe place. Some big hail. Nathan, looks like upwards of quarter to ping pong ball sized hail.
Yeah, and we're seeing more rotation with that one as well, Tom. So I don't like the looks of that as it is making its way along Highway 27 and Highway 28. So is severe thunderstorm warning at this time, but Plainview, Nimrod Lake, Steve, Nimrod, Casa, Ola, you just want to certainly be on your guard because this is a supercell thunderstorm and they may have to go ahead and issue a tornado warning. Of course, you know, it's always the best idea to just take the safest route and assume that this is a tornado warning. If you don't live in a sturdy structure and you need to get to a sturdy structure, I would do that at this time because you do have some time in Plainview and Nimrod before they issue a tornado warning. They're watching it very closely. This is again a supercell thunderstorm that has a hook echo to it, a little appendage there. So we have two cells now, Tom, that certainly are more concerning. Rover would be the location if there is going to be something happening very shortly. It's going to be right over the community of Rover and River Road.
Yeah.
Again.
And the Weather Service just said that rotation definitely picking up with this storm. So in the next few minutes, Nathan, I think they're probably going to issue Perry County a tornado warning, if not Yale County and Perry counties. And that, notice where that is. That's going to skirt right over the northern part of Pulaski and also go right over Faulkner County. Your communities of Valonia, Mayflower, and Conway will be in the path of that storm. If and when a warning is put out, I think it's coming.
Yes, it looks like, you know, they're just waiting on one or two scans to see if the rotation continues. But let's go over and recap where we stand right now because we do have a new tornado watch that is in effect for a large part of central Arkansas and to the north. That does include Saline County, Pulaski County, Lono County, Prairie County, White County, and off to the north. And this tornado watch, it is around until 3 o'clock in the morning. So we have a long night ahead of us, ladies and gentlemen, just for the potential of severe weather that includes damaging wind gusts, large hail. But as we are seeing, these storms are rotating. Fortunately, as of right now, they have not been producing a tornado, but that can certainly change very shortly.
It's coming. They just said they're going to issue it. Tornado warning is going to be issued for the Yale County storm just down a second ago. So Yale County, I would imagine Perry County, you're going to be placed under a tornado warning. Let's go ahead and and say, hey, we know that that's what's going to happen. Yale County, Perry County, you're going to be in the path of this. Nathan showed you where the hook was with this, near Briggsville, Arkansas. There's Nimrod Lake, Plainview. It's on this part of that severe thunderstorm warning. It's on the southern part of that, but the whole area here in orange is a severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect till 9:15, and we're just waiting on the particulars of that tornado warning that's going to be issued here shortly for Yale County. I would imagine it's going to extend into Perry County as well. You've got Rose Creek, you've got Casa, Nimrod. You're on down the line here in Perry County. So go ahead and get family together, get to your safe place, and track us on the phone. You know, we've got the THV11 app. You can tune in to Nathan and I as we track these storms with you tonight, and we'll make sure that you know everything that we know. The good news is we've had lots of warnings, but we have not had any confirmation of any tornadoes. But there's a lot of colors going on here. And each tornado warning or severe thunderstorm warning has a definition. And Nathan, I think you're probably best at describing what's going on. We've got the legend above, but just kind of break down what we're seeing here with all of the colors on the map tonight.
Well, Tom, I was waiting on that tornado warning to be issued so we can get a clear idea of what communities will be affected. But yeah, there you go. It's coming down. There you see it. Okay, so there's the new tornado warning. So the two red polygons are indicating that a tornado is possible, and we're not seeing anything other than that when we take a look at just the tornado warning polygon. So that's some good news. Hopefully it continues to be that way. If a tornado is confirmed, this polygon will change from a bright red down to more of a maroon color, and there you see the severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible into parts of Polk County and Conway County. But here's the newest tornado warning. There you see it until 9:30 now, and it does include Danville, Plainview, Ola, Nimrod. Then you get into Perry County, Rose Creek, Casa, Nimrod, Cherry Hill, and Hollis. So those areas, if you're watching us in those locations, we gave you some time to say, get ready just in case, and unfortunately the rotation continues to pick up within this cell. When we take a look at the winds, we're going to have to bounce back and forth now between two tornado warnings, and we'll certainly do that, and we'll also span things out just to see if there's anything else developing. But we have two supercell thunderstorms, and the one here, the most recent one, if there's something happening, it's going to be very close to Rover, and pretty much in between Rover and Steve, headed towards Fouche Mountain, Ward's Crossing, Nimrod Lake, very close to Plainview, and Nimrod. Highway 60, Highway 7 is in the path of this dangerous cell. Danville, you are under the tornado warning, so I'm sure the sirens are going off, but I think for the most part, it will be just down to the south of you. Don't write it off. Still go ahead and take those tornado precautions because there's nothing wrong with taking the safest route. But it looks like the rotation at this time is down to the south of you, and it will be making its way off to the east. So this cell is making its way to the east at 45 miles per hour. I think that's what I have here on the tornado track. Let me just check just to be sure. And we'll 45. Put a new track on there. So I got to change that to 45 instead of 35. And here's a new track now with this cell that is moving from Yale County into Perry County and affecting those communities. So this purple cone is the higher probability of where the rotation or potential tornado will be located.
And there are the locations. Again, Plainview, Fouche Junction, Berta, Nimrod. You get over to Casa, Rose Creek, Cherry Hill, Perryville. 9:36, so you've got about 45 minutes here in Perry County. There's even a little sliver of northern Saline, but for the most part, this cell looks like it's going to travel due east and affect Perry County and these locations here within the next 30 to 45 minutes. So Plainview, you're up first. The rotation with this is tightening up. It's not as impressive as the cell to the north, but it's a supercell thunderstorm that's all by itself and has plenty of ingredients to feed from, to maintain its strength and even get stronger. The red polygon is the tornado warning till 9:30, and there's even, of course, a little bit of that orange from the severe thunderstorm warning until 9:15. No confirmation, but strong rotation. The other one, just to the north in Conway County, tornado warning continues for another roughly 5.5 minutes. And now that's been extended just now into northern Faulkner County and also Van Buren County. So you folks are now under that tornado warning. I think that just popped up on the screen.
It did.
It did. All right. And that is for Cleburne, Conway, Faulkner, Van Buren, those counties in north central Arkansas. So the cell that we've been keeping a close eye on, maintaining its strength, and is now prompting a new tornado warning. Hopefully you paid attention to what we were saying, that if you're in northern parts of Faulkner County and Cleburne County, to go ahead and take your precautions. A lot of places in the path here, from Greenbrier northward to Twin Groves to Southside, Southside B Branch. This is the new polygon that was issued for 945 that does include Woolly Hollow State Park, Republican, Arkansas, Guy, and then eventually it's going to get over toward the Quitman area. There's the line for Cleburne County right here. So Van Buren, Faulkner County, you're under the tornado warning right now. Possible tornado near Bethlehem or 12 miles northeast of Morrilton, moving east at 35 miles per hour. We'll slap a track on that near Bethlehem, Arkansas, right here. This is the area of concern as the storm is moving out of one polygon into the other. We'll track those locations for you that are going to be in the path of this. Looks like Springfield, a little uptick here. And we'll put, if you can, Nathan, when you get a chance.
Yeah, I just wanted to get
right
a look at the structure to really see where this rotation is, because it was a little busy on the velocity. So
it's just a lot of stuff going on, a lot of colors to work our way through. That's why we're here to try to work our way through them for you. But yeah, just joining us now, Faulkner County, Van Buren County, a little part of, looks like Cleburne County now under a tornado warning till 9:45. Let me give those counties one more time. Cleburne, Conway, Faulkner, and Van Buren County. Counties we've been talking about with this main supercell moving through north central Arkansas. Luckily, we've heard no reports of any confirmation, but strong enough rotation. And there are the locations that are in the path of this storm. Bethlehem, pretty much right now. Cedar Creek at 9:02, Republican, Arkansas, 9:11, Damascus at 9:15. That is on the Faulkner, Van Buren County line. Guy at 9:20, and then you get out to Quitman at 9:33. And here's Quitman, this purple shaded area is who is under the gun with this tornado warned storm. And again, the one in Yale County issued not long ago for Yale, Perry, and the northern part of Saline County. We'll go back to that one here in just a few moments. But this one, Nathan, most impressive. It's still holding its own. It may cycle down a little bit, but notice there's nothing out in front of it to slow it down. This cell's moving 35. The one to the southwest is moving 45. Maybe they catch up. Maybe this one chokes off the energy to the two to the north. We'll just have to wait and see. You can see the appendage of the one here in Yale County that's south of Danville. There's Ola, Casa. It's moving to the east, and you folks are in the path of this supercell thunderstorm.
And Tom, that cell that was in Yale County did have a very significant cloud top at first when it really started to develop. It had a cloud top over 50,000. That has come down somewhat. So that is some good news, because that may show some weakening trend happening. But of course, we still have that tornado warning in effect. It still looks nasty when we take a look at the reflectivity product or rain product on radar. It still has that hook echo, classic hook echo. And that basically tells us that we're seeing rotation within this storm. You've got the storm has a rotating updraft, and where that appendage is, that's where the updraft is happening. And then all the rain and hail and all that is on the right-hand side that you can see. It's all spreading out over Ola and Casa and into Perry County. So this one, if there was a tornado warning happening or a tornado happening, it would be easier to see, especially in the daytime, because it's not rain wrapped. It would be located very much into probably the Plainview area along Highway 28 and headed towards Nimrod Lake. So if there is still the threat of a tornado, and that's why the tornado warning is in effect, it's going to be happening very close to Plainview at this time. So once again, Highway 28, Highway 60 towards Highway 7, right along the border of Perry County and Yale County. You need to certainly go ahead and take your tornado precautions. It does include a part of Saline County. Now, I don't know if emergency managers,
right
just
there.
because
Yeah.
it's a part of Saline County, if that will trigger all the sirens or not. If the sirens are going off in anywhere in Saline County
Yeah.
at this time, there is no threat of a tornado. It's just a very small part of Saline County that the National Weather Service, when they were trying to draw this tornado warning, they just, they're in a rush, so they're not going to cut out every single part of every county it doesn't touch. So it's a little more of a messy drawing for them, but they just want to get out the information as soon as possible. So Saline County, there is no tornado threat at this time. We're not looking at any cells down to the southwest headed in our direction, but this cell, if it holds together, it is kind of trying to drift its way down to the east and maybe a little bit of a southeast jog. As we rewind the radar loop over the past hour, let's track to see where this has been going. And it looks like it's primarily moving due east. So if it holds together, it will continue to move into Perry County, move into Faulkner County. So Conway, wants you guys to be alert on that potential. If this cell holds together, there may be a tornado warning coming for Conway and maybe for Mayflower and northern parts of Pulaski County. That certainly is a possibility, just because we've got the situation, Tom. These cells are all by themselves. They are having a buffet right now with the warm and humid air mass. We have enough wind energy, enough wind shear to have these cells continuing to maintain their strength and rotation.
Just an observation, the cell to the north is still the strongest. Look at all of the lightning in comparison to the one to the south. This one was issued because of the structure of the appendage, the hook echo that we sometimes call it. You see that hook. That's why this was issued. It has been tightening up a bit, but the Weather Service it says because of the weak hook echo. That's why they went ahead and put it under a tornado warning. And he's right. There's nothing out here to stop it. There's not an area of thunderstorms to the south to keep it from pulling in all of that rich, moist air that it really needs for support and development. But it's very strong, very severe, very strong thunderstorm, severe, capable of producing a tornado near Ola. And the other one to the north is now getting out of what looks like Conway County, getting ready to cross the border into Faulkner County. So you folks in Twin Groves, Republican, and Greenbrier, you're going to be in the path of this. Here is our area of rotation or spin, strong rotation, the couplet as we call it. You know, I get asked on occasion, well, what do all those blues and oranges mean? I tell you, those really help us track it at street level. We can tell you that if there's a tornado, it's likely to be in this region. You've got winds blowing toward radar, which is back in North Little Rock, and the winds blowing away from it. So that gives us the best clue as to where the rotation is located. And right now it looks like it's over Springfield, Arkansas, along Highway 124. And we'll soon be moving out of Conway County into western Faulkner County. Republican would be in the path, even from Twin Groves down to Republican and Greenbrier. You folks are going to be in the path of this storm. It's moving to the east very slowly at about 35 miles per hour. And the National Weather Service says they're going to continue the tornado warning for Conway, Perry, Saline, and Yale County. So they're continuing that warning. That is this cell right here, as a matter of fact. There you go. There's a little bit of a structure. You can see a little bit of what we talk about with the hook echoes or those appendages that hang down out of the supercell. So right here, that's the main concern near Highway 124 in Springfield, Arkansas. If you live in this part of the state, it's hopefully it's imperative. Hopefully you're not just new to the evening events and that you've been paying attention. Get everything together, get to your closet or safe space, stay away from windows, stay away from outside walls, put as many walls between you and the outside. A small room or closet on the lowest level of your home. Pretty good looking supercell thunderstorm in terms of being able to tell where the possible hook echo or rotation is with this, and it's moving through Springfield right now. Republican, Greenbrier along Highway 25 and 65. Twin Groves, you're getting either some heavy rain or maybe a little bit of the hail core right now. Damascus the same way. This cell is tracking east, and the hail that we have around quarter sized, if that. It might be a little bit smaller as it reaches the ground. But our main concern is what it could produce. It has not yet, in terms of confirmation, we haven't heard it has produced a tornado, but some very impressive rotation, Nathan, with this cell.
The National Weather Service, Tom, said that rotation for the northern cell that we're looking at is starting to broaden out a little bit, so we're not seeing as tight a couplet. But again, it's a supercell. you can't let your guard down because they go through a cycle. They can cycle up and cycle down. So we'll go back down to the one into Yale County and Perry counties, excuse me, and see if that one's showing any more significant rotation. It's not looking like it's as strong with the wind, but when we take a look at the radar or the rain part of the data, it's certainly showing a hook echo. And this is what, is interesting, because before, I'm sure you remember, back in the day, every hook echo was pretty much tornado warned.
Sure.
And now we have more and more data that we can kind of define, okay, just because it's a hook echo, that rotation could be staying in the clouds. And that certainly is a possibility with this, but you're still under a tornado warning in this part of eastern Yale County. So Danville, you're in the clear. The severe weather threat is off to the east of you. So you're done with the threat of severe weather with that particular cell. But again, we saw the tornado watch all the way until 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
That means you don't have to stay up all night, ladies and gentlemen, but you want to have several ways of being notified to wake you up just in case a tornado warning is issued, because the potential will be there through the overnight hours. Of course, we're going to have you covered here on THV 11. And we're going to have our team here just to keep you informed. If it happens all night long, we will be here. We're on Facebook as well as all of our streaming platforms, and we appreciate any reports that you may have. Once again, the number to send us any reports or pictures would be 501-376-1111. 2 tornado warnings in effect for the THV 11 viewing area at this time. When we take a look at the rest of the region, it is pretty quiet. There's nothing going on for a large part of Little Rock and down to the south and southeast. But we have these 2 cells. We're also watching more storms into Oklahoma that will be moving into northwest Arkansas. That's why the tornado watch goes all the way until 3 o'clock in the morning. These cells making their way through Conway County, entering into Faulkner County, again, Greenbrier, Republican, Twin Groves, Damascus, Guy, Woolly Hollow State Park are all under that tornado warning, and hopefully you are in your safe place at this time. We certainly have a clear hook echo here with the structure as this rain is bending its way back around the storm and producing this hooking structure right there, very close to Republican. And on the northern side, that's where the really heavy rain, torrential rain is going to be happening, where the reds are, Twin Groves, Damascus, and the large hail.
I do want to mention this, that our producer up in the booth, Kevin, they have a shot from Conway, one of the cameras from Conway, looking off to the west, and there's a lot of cloud-to-ground lightning out here that we're picking up from that cell that is due west. Over in Yale and Perry County. This is, where are we looking from here? West in Conway? Is that right, Kevin? This is in Conway looking west. So look at all that lightning, Nathan. Impressive lightning from those storms moving closer to Conway, Faulkner County area. So that's what's coming at you, folks, for a little bit later on tonight. We just wanted to share this. RDOT, thank you very much. We can now go back to, I'll tell you what, let's go to Max 2 real quick. I've got that storm that's in Faulkner County, northern Faulkner County, that's getting ready to pull in close to Greenbrier, Conway County, Greenbrier. This is the area of rotation. Greenbrier, you're going to be in the path. You're on the southern part of that. You've got Damascus up here. So this is going to split between Greenbrier and Damascus. There's B Branch to the north. Clinton, you're not going to be involved with this one. This is going to move to the east-northeast. And it's going to go over northern parts of Faulkner County, getting awfully close to southern Cleburne County. We're talking about Guy area, Quitman area. So you're going to be in the path of this eventually. This is the warning. The storm has broadened just a bit, but it's cycling. It's going to weaken and it's going to re-strengthen. So we've got our eyes on this cell. Now let's go back over to Max 1 and we'll take a look at the cell that is the latest tornado warned storm till 9:30 tonight. The other one's till 9:45, and here it is moving. Part of it, the part would have the heavy rain and the hail, some straight line winds moving into western Perry County, and near Ola's where we find a bit of a hook or a bit of an appendage that would give us the idea that there is a hook here. Looking for any Anything from the Weather Service new on this one? 3 supercells. One looks like it's been kind of absorbed. That was the northern one, so you've got 2 really that are taken over. This cell, if it continues to move to the east, Perryville, Arkansas, eventually over southern Faulkner County near Conway, Mayflower, and there's the cell that is now moving out of Conway County into Faulkner County.
It looks like there's trying to be another hook around Overcup Lake there, just to the southwest of Sogowahatchee.
Back building here, yeah.
So there could be another cell trying to develop in that part. So that's something we'll have to watch out for as well, Tom. So there's like definitely some supercellular structures happening along this line. And again, it was just a line of storms that has just become individual supercells trying to take shape. We have not had any damage reports. That's some good news. We have not had really any confirmation of tornadoes, even though we've had several tornado warnings issued throughout the course of the evening that started around was 8 o'clock for the most part. The only thing we've heard so far is the potential spotter saw a funnel cloud over Russellville as that cell made its way through. But still, we have to take these seriously just in case this cell continues to intensify. A Republican, Horseshoe Mountain, Woolly Hollow, the D there that you see in Guy, that's the Dollar General. And if there's something happening at this moment, it will be very close to Republican, I would say, very close to Horseshoe Mountain along Highway 285.
Right,
let's see what road that is. That's going to be West Republican Road, Highway 65, and Highway 25.
Yeah.
Are going to be the areas in the most likely, if there's rotation that's going to make its way down to the ground, a tornado may be happening in that part of Faulkner County. Let's go back over to the one into Yale County and Perry County. It's right on the border of Yale and Perry counties. So Britta and Casa would be the areas that would have the highest potential of seeing a possible tornado as this cell continues to travel its way off to the east. We'll go ahead and put a track on here because it's been quite some time since we've done that. But if this cell holds together, and it certainly is a possibility, it will make its way into the rest of Perry County and potentially into Faulkner County and northern parts of Pulaski County if it holds together. So there is the timeline for the potential, just to give you a heads up. Of course, Casa, you are under that tornado warning, so you want to take this seriously. You want to get to the lowest level, sturdy structure, interior hallway, interior bathroom, separate yourself with as many interior walls as possible. But there you see Perryville, if it holds together, it will be making its way into your neck of the woods close to 9:49, Apollo 9:54, Houston 10 o'clock, potentially Y Mountain around 5 minutes after 10 o'clock, and then maybe even getting into Toadsuck around 10:13. This could make its way into Conway. I think there will be a storm in Conway because it looks like it's just going to continue to travel its way to the east. Hopefully it weakens, but we just had an atmosphere that is prime for the potential of severe weather, and that does include the chance of also severe weather that may produce not only damaging wind gusts, large hail, but maybe even a tornado. So let's go back over to the northern cell to see what's happening with that. Let's go over to Storm Track 11 also, because we haven't seen what's been going on with that. When you take a look at those two different signatures, Tom, the one that's standing out to me is still that northern cell.
Yeah, and it's moving close to Greenbrier right now. In fact, it's just either over the top of Greenbrier or just to the west of Greenbrier. This is Faulkner County. From Greenbrier, there's Guy, Arkansas. Then beyond that, you get into Cleburne County, north of Wooster. But even though you may not be picking up the rotation there, you might pick up some very strong wind gusts, and that gave you a pretty good idea as to where we look for the hook echo. So this has been the strongest storm. It's maintained all night. It might weaken a little bit, but it re-strengthens, and you can see the hook nature here, more out to the west that Nathan just mentioned a few moments ago. Keep an eye on that area for strengthening. And there's a little bit there. There's not as much here, though, and that's north of Morrilton. So this is the main game right here. The one out in Perry County, it's really hard to define where the rotation is located. No reports of any damage or what we would see tornado debris signatures. So that's certainly some good news. But we still have very impressive rotation with these storms tonight in an area that we started the night off with, and we understand that there was not a tornado watch in effect for this part of Arkansas. It was for northwest Arkansas, but we were in a risk and we had the ingredients there, and this is what you get. You get 2 or 3 of these individual cells that break apart from a line, and they grab their own identity, and the one that's really the most identifiable right now is to the west of Greenbrier. This is it's NROD, it's our rotation mode that shows the rotation near Greenbrier and north of Wooster. And we're looking to see if we've had any reports of any hail with these storms as well. But I would think that we would see hail out of this situation. Pretty strong updrafts with these severe thunderstorms. Here's our polygon. And you look from near Morganton, there's Guy, Greenbrier, just a little bit now of western Conway County, and I think the cell is pretty much out. The rotation is moving over Greenbrier, north of Wooster. If you have interests in Greenbrier, hopefully they're in their safe place. They've been able to cover their heads up with something, got the kids in the closet or their safe room. Make sure that you have your important papers with you just in case. We haven't had any reports of anything touch down with this, but that could change. There's the cell, and there's another one. Nathan, the one out toward Yale County does not look nearly as impressive. It looks like it might be weakening somewhat. Yeah. Certainly, it looks like it's been canceled.
It
nope,
certainly
it's still there. Okay.
Was much more impressive when it first really developed, and now I guess it might be hitting some of the air behind this one supercell, and that's starting to weaken it a little bit. So hopefully that continues to be the trend. That's great news.
They're going to cancel the tornado warning in Yale and Perry counties. Rotation has fallen apart.
Okay, well there you go.
Yeah, it just last couple of radar scans, it just has not looked very impressive at all. But it could still redevelop. All right, we're going to keep an eye on that one, but still looking. I guess we go back to the one here in northern Faulkner County, Greenbrier area that is tracking over the northern part of that county with the rotation now over Greenbrier. Movement is to the east at 35 miles per hour. Seeing a gradual weakening. You really don't know what happened or can't really tell what happened to that other supercell to the north. It has pretty much fallen apart or has been absorbed by the one that has been really the most impressive, the strongest one tonight. And these are our cloud tops. Cloud tops were about how tall were these tops, Nathan?
The one in Yale County where you see that red, that's over 50,000 feet.
50,000
So
feet.
that one
Big
really blew
tonight.
up very quickly, and now it's starting to fall apart very quickly as well. So that's some good news. The one into Faulkner County still showing some red, so that's still an intense cell moving through northern parts of Faulkner County, and we'll continue to look at that in the current mode with the winds. And it's still, it just may be some very gusty winds from the downdraft or the outflow of this system. But those winds, this is about 1,800 feet above the surface, 40, 50 mile per hour wind. So that can still bring down some tree limbs and maybe even cause some power outages. We haven't taken a look at the power outages just yet. I'll get to that in just one second. But let's go over to Max 1 because that is the only tornado warning we have in effect at this time, primarily for Faulkner County now. The danger has moved out of Conway County and it's situated over northern parts of Faulkner County. It does not include you folks in Conway, but when we take a look at the radar, this is just a storm that is electrified to the max. I mean, look at all this lightning just over this one area. I'm just going to query the lightning here just to take a look at how much lightning is within this box area, and we have 228 lightning strikes in that part of Faulkner County. So there's a new severe thunderstorm warning that was just issued.
It's this cell.
And they're going to replace it.
They're going to replace it with a tornado possible tag. And that was one of the things Nathan talked about a few moments ago with all of these different criteria for our tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings. So they're going to drop it down to a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag on it. So maybe it's weakening a bit. I don't trust it. I think that it goes through a weakening stage and maybe it cycles back up. But there you go. It is a little broader. The couplet's not as tightly wound up there near Greenbrier. There's still some fairly significant rotation. But right now it looks like it's broadened out enough to where the Weather Service is going to say, we're going to drop it down a notch. But still keep your safe place ready to go at any moment's notice for that cell moving through northern Faulkner County along Highway 225. Here's 65. You know, the highway you take to go to Guy, maybe Heber Springs, a lot of times go up to Greer's Ferry Lake that way. So that's where that location is located, 25 from 65. And there's Greenbrier. This area of rotation is moving over Greenbrier at this time, very slowly, moving east at 35 miles per hour. A severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag. We're going to keep a close eye on it for sure. We're probably just going to keep it here for a little while longer until we feel comfortable with it weakening somewhat.
Let's just go through a few scans just to make sure that it doesn't try to cycle up. But yeah, that area of Faulkner County, been up there many times. It's right on the ridge, Highway 25. So if it was day, I'm sure you would get a crazy view of this storm just to the south of Highway 25. We still have that tornado warning in effect, but they are going to allow that to go to severe thunderstorm warning. They just did that, it looks like. So they have canceled the tornado warning, but we just want to be sure, just because this is a supercell structure, we don't want to leave coverage and then jump back on 5 minutes later. We just want to see how this cell is evolving. If it continues to show that is weakening, we will send it back to regularly scheduled programming.
Hey, this is some good news. It's not as tightly compact. It's broadened out quite a bit. And why don't we do this, Nathan? Why don't we just take a look at our watches that we have? And if you're just joining us tonight, tornado watch now in effect till 3 o'clock in the morning for a good part of northern Arkansas. That does include central. We're talking about Pulaski County, Saline County, even Perry County, because of these storms that popped up. We'll keep an eye on that cell. We'll take you on a little tour. This is not a widespread event. This is a few cells that kind of broke apart and decided to become a little more singular, supercellular. There's the tornado watch. Now, if we update this, it's going to be 3 o'clock in the morning. That includes the Little Rock area. It also includes Searcy, Russellville until 3 in the morning, Clinton, Batesville, Mountain Home, Harrison. So central, north central Arkansas, and northwest Arkansas. That watch is until 10 o'clock tonight. We saw a line of storms moving out of Oklahoma associated with the frontal boundary. And earlier this evening, around dinner break, a line of storms began to come together, and then we began to see them break apart. Thus, you had 2 supercells and then another one. But there you go, till 3 o'clock in the morning. Little Rock area is under a tornado watch. Have ways to receive severe weather information overnight tonight. Again, if you got to go to bed tonight, make sure that you have your phones charged up. You've got it turned on to alert you if a warning happens in your area. The app will certainly help you out with that, and your NOAA weather radio. Make sure that it's plugged in and ready to go. And there's also a little thing called Weather Call. You can text the word CALL to 501-376-1111. That's CALL, C-A-L-L, to 501-376-1111. It's a service that will notify you in occasions like this where you have the potential for severe weather overnight. You can sign up for the service, and it will be very specific. If your county and your location is under a warning, you'll get that call. So that's another way to stay weather aware tonight. But there is the watch, and there is the severe thunderstorm warning. What do you think?
All right, Tom. When we take a look at Storm Track 11, and we're going to rewind this here.
Sure thing.
Just real quick, and just to show you, this has certainly changed in our favor, because you see the brighter blues, the brighter reds have really started to disappear. So here's the latest. It's over Greenbrier. There could still be some rotation within this, but it looks like the rotation has gone down just enough that I think it's your call, but
so, 'cause we're halfway.
What would you like to do? I think it might be okay to go back.
Yeah,
But
we
it's
were
your
just
call.
discussing. Okay, yeah, we're just discussing. We've 9:22. Things are beginning to settle down. Let's go ahead and go back to network. That will allow us to. We'll keep an eye on things, Kevin. I'm talking to our producer, Kevin, about what we're going to do tonight. So we'll do that. We'll go back to our CBS programming. If another tornado warning comes about here in the next few minutes, we will sure and jump back on. Nathan Scott, Tom Brannon here. We'll be with you at 10 o'clock tonight. But for right now, with the warning, we're keeping an eye on the cells. They've weakened somewhat. That's certainly some good news. We'll go back to CBS, and we'll hopefully see you at 10. If not, we'll see you before then.